Hello everyone. And welcome to Grab Pips. This is the 17th day of Tuesday, 2026. That's 17th day of February 2026, which is a Tuesday, by the way. Okay, we want to look at what the market has in store for us today. What are we going to expect from the market today? Market, I mean the forex market. I'm going to be measuring on the EU GU, and my strategy is consists of mainly of two things: liquidity sweeps, and SMT. SMT, yeah, is a very important part of it. That's SMT. For those who don't know, is a situation whereby two positively correlated pairs, meaning they move together. They move when one makes a higher high, the other makes a higher high, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. They move in sync, more or less. And then all of a sudden, one makes a higher high, and the other fails to make a higher high and makes a lower high. Now that gives us a signal. It tells us that this is the market showing its hand. There is a potential change in direction. Okay, and then we try to pay it up with a liquidity sweep. Price moving up to take out an external range liquidity like a previous high or previous low, depending on the bias, or an internal range liquidity like an FVG, an order block. You know the drill, and so that is what we do. Um, okay. Going into the weekly, we see in the weekly. Now we're going to be comparing EU and GU, that's Euro USD and GBP USD. Other positively correlated pairs are like BTC and Ethereum, BTC USD and Ethereum USD. You have gold and silver. You have AUD, Australian dollar USD, and New Zealand dollars USD. So okay, so now on the weekly here, based on what we're seeing so far, this is supposed to be a bearish trend on the weekly, but suddenly price makes a sweep and takes out the previous low on the weekly, and is making a bearish move towards the original trend. But we don't know exactly what price is going to, so we predict that at least price is going to get to the OTE. This is the OTE, this very region, sorry, the equilibrium, and possibly into OTE. Then we know if it's going to reverse back upwards or if it's going to keep going down bearish. Okay, and likewise on the EU, we see it playing out again. Okay, we see price took out a previous high, price took out this previous high also, this previous high here, and then there was no impulse, no impulsive move, no momentum move. It came right back down into the range. Okay, so this is telling us that if you look, if you want to put it that way, that sellers are in control. So we're expecting price also to get to OTE on one or both assets. Okay, to get to equilibrium, sorry, this OTE 10, to get to equilibrium and possibly into OTE, into this range. Okay, before we know if it's going to break um this previous low and continue the general trend, or if it's going to still go upwards. If it's going to break this previous low, okay, there's a previous low here, so we do not know yet this particular low. So what we're going to be um, what we're going to be trading is what we see. We trade what we see, not what we think. So so now price is in a bearish range. Okay, coming back, bearish movement downwards, coming back into the range. Okay, so but we don't trade the weekly, we trade the daily. So let's move down to the daily and see if we've got information there that's going to help our cause. Now on the daily, okay, price continues its downward trend on the daily on both assets. okay. But then, like we're seeing a pullback. We're going to have a clearer view on the 4 hour time frame. So let's move down to the 4 hour time frame. Now on the 4 hour time frame, we see clearly that price has broken this low on the GU. Price has broken this low on the GU, and then it has reacted sharply. There is no impulse. It's pulling back into the range, and we expect price to come into the OT, the equilibrium. Sorry, the equilibrium, before we start considering whether we can start looking for opportunities. And then we see an FVG nested right here, okay, just above the equilibrium. So there is possibility, we use possibility because you can't really predict the market. There is possibility that price is going to pull into this FVG and perhaps even into this range, yeah. And as far as this high, this is still fair game. This is fair game, okay, before continuing its downward trend, okay. All right, so when we look at the EU, we see something that is quite similar. The EU didn't move down so much after it had swept this very low, okay. It swept this low, and then price is moving back into the range here. And so we're expecting it to come into the OTE equilibrium. Sorry, what's with this OTE equilibrium on one or both of the assets, okay. And they're possibly into OTE before we start looking for sales downwards, selling opportunities. So at the moment, this is the outlook on price. There are no particularly strong economic news today, so the market could be a little bit low on volatility, could be all right. So this is the market outlook for today. So we're just gonna wait for the market because it broke structure on the 4 hour time frame downwards, and on both of the assets it swept the low and it's pulling back, okay. So we expect it to come into equilibrium on one or either of the or both of the assets, and possibly into OTE. This is of particular concern, the FVG here, okay. So that at this point we drop down to the lower time frame, and then we look for that particular setup, whatever particular setup that is going to signal that market has clearly decided to start moving downwards, okay. What I like to do is in the 15 minutes, I I still look for SMT. SMT like tells me what is going on in the market, what the market is about to do. So I like to see either one of the assets. What I usually like to trade, as this is bearish, I would like to trade the one that is weaker, the asset that didn't move. The pullback wasn't so strong. Is the weaker asset, so that it has a lot more push. It has a lot more power going downwards because it didn't move up. So I like to trade it, and I'll look for SMT on both pairs on the 15 minutes, and then when SMT is confirmed, then I look for other confluences like CISD, change in state of delivery, or inverse fair value gap, market structure shift, and then a strong move downward, an impulse move downward, then which leaves an FVG as well. So you can either buy once that impulse move has that at the close of that candle that breaks the last low, the previous low, or you wait for it to pull back into the origin of the move, into the what's it called, the FVG that was created in that impulse move, or the 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 low, that particular low that was broken, okay. So we wait and see how it's going to turn out today. Thank you.